So we hear a lot of talk about AI agents and the different architectures that are available out there. In this particular tutorial, I'm going to be covering the different architectures when it comes to building multi-agent systems. But let's start first with the very basic example. So you have the single agent where you need to just use the language model and interact with tools to either create, retrieve, update, or modify records either in a local database, a remote database, or a remote API. So this is typically what you start with to get your feet wet and to understand what it takes to build our agents. The next one that is really useful is working with 2 or more agents. So this is necessary because when you start getting to maybe like 10 or 12 tools interacting with a single setup for an agent, it starts to become very confusing and you don't really get the right performance, you don't really get the right behavior, and you may not really have your agent behave the way you want it to behave when you're doing it in production. So this is when you start to have specialization and separation of concerns, where you take the task or the set of tasks and you break it up into multiple agents. So now we start to have 2 or more agents having to collaborate, having to make decisions. So when it comes to these kind of architectures, there are several that we're going to consider. So if you take a look at what the Meta team talked about, you would see several architectures. If you take a look at what the LangChain team spoke about, where Harrison was covering some of these agents, you will see some of these architectures as well. So you have the single agent, you have the network architecture, where you have a collection of agents where every agent is trying to interact with one another. This is typically not what we recommend, because you have to make your agent aware of every other agent, and now you're spending too much money on tokens with language models. So this is typically not recommended. You also have the single agent that is working with multiple tools. You also have the supervisor, where you have one agent having to route the request to multiple agents, and then when they finish, they have to report back to the supervisor agent. Then you have other architectures like the network setup, where it is kind of custom. So in this case, you are the one that decides exactly what is going to happen. So you might choose to have one agent that receives the request, creates a plan, and then routes it to another agent, and these agents can interact with each other if they feel like, or if it's needed, and then it proceeds to the end when the final stage is reached. So these are some of the architectures that I want you to be aware of, so that as you are thinking about building complicated and complex systems, we can simplify it by breaking up the different tasks into sub-agents, and then allow the agent to focus on maybe like 3, 4, 5 tools, maybe 8 tools at the maximum, and you don't have all the different tools bundled into one agent and you expect it to figure it out. That typically will not work. So we'll be talking about the videos coming up in the future, how we can use LangGraph, how we can use Pydantic AI to set up this kind of multi-agent architecture. So I thank you for spending the time to watch this video. Now, if you're interested in doing a deep dive into how to build AI applications for production, deploying it on Microsoft Azure, I have an oncoming online membership, so you can join the waiting list, and when we open up for registration, we'll be the first to find out. Now, if this video has helped you and you've benefited in any way, please share with someone that you care about, and they will thank you for it. Thank you for your time today, and I will see you in the next video.